Hey, welcome to the revolution, the digital revolution, that is. I'm thrilled to have you join me today for this live stream on Bridging Worlds, Navigating the Hybrid Frontier. I'm Jim Kunkel, your host and fellow explorer of the digital transformation world. On this dynamic broadcast, both you and I will unravel the intricacies of hybrid work environments where physical and virtual business office collides. Whether you're turning in from your home office, a bustling coffee shop, or a cozy corner of your company's headquarters, this discussion is for you, and it needs you to participate by posting comments that I can add to this live broadcast for discussion. Now, let's dive right into this topic. The hybrid landscape where pixels meet cubicles. The workspace canvas has transformed. Cubicles are now shared space with pixels, and our screens are portals to collaboration. Okay, let's talk about the new normal, technology ecosystems, and the importance of digital etiquette. The new normal, the concept of the new normal has become increasingly relevant for businesses in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's explore what it entails. Transitioning from pandemic to endemic. We are still gradually moving from the acute phase of the pandemic to a more endemic state. While the disease risk has drastically minimized, we can all see how our business realities of today are transformed from traditional business as it was existed prior to 2020. Business leaders need to create a secure plan for development, transformation, and revitalization and development. This involves embracing changes that have occurred since the pandemic and integrating them into ongoing business strategies. Now, some of the key shifts include process automation, accelerating automation to enhance efficiency, business strategy changes, and this will involve making durable adjustments to business strategies and cloud-based activities, leveraging cloud computing technologies. Change management has changed, which is now adapting to digital transformations and tech platforms, the reliance we all have now on technology for growth and resilience. So the new normal in business refers to redefining how we operate it and what it involves, and also learning from the past months since the pandemic, and then deciding on what practices we need to retain and what we need to discard. Now, aspects affected include work methods, how we work, collaborate, and communicate, the business role in society, the evolving role of businesses in addressing societal needs, and preparedness for future events, considering the likelihood of future business interruptions. Organizations must adapt to this transformed landscape and find innovative ways to thrive. Now, defining traits of the new normal. Dispersed workforce. Remote work is here to stay, with many employees still not fully returned to traditional offices. Mobile communication strategies, along with effective internal communication through mobile platforms. We are a mobile business operation in some cases. Embracing automation, leveraging automation for streamlined operations, and innovation, fostering creative and adaptability with technologies and also too with business processes. Risk management. You want to have a forward-thinking approach to mitigate risk, being it in a physical office or a remote office. Now, for technology ecosystems, let me focus on one aspect that I am involved with every day. It doesn't matter who I work with, in my present employer, working with other organizations and other professionals, Microsoft Teams. Now, I'm not sponsored nor endorsing Microsoft. It's just that Teams for me currently seems to be used by, like I said earlier, every business and every contact that I work with. Now, here are some key advantages of just Microsoft Teams, and you can apply this to a lot of other type of online and virtual resources that are available out there for collaboration and teamwork and meetings. Comprehensive communication platforms is what Teams is. It provides chat and more. While Teams provides a chat window for quick conversations, It really goes beyond that. You can share files, you can make video calls, you can send video messages, you can even schedule meetings without leaving the chat interface. You can do it all at the same time. The integration with all of the different Microsoft products. Now, Teams seamlessly integrates with other Microsoft tools like OneNote. How many people are using OneNote is watching the broadcast right now, and especially the overall Office environment, which allows you to collaborate without switching between apps. And that makes it very useful and very efficient. Enhancing meeting experience. Before, during, and after meetings, Teams simplifies the meeting preparation. You can discuss agendas, you can share files, and keep track of notes and action items, all within the same platform. Additionally, after a meeting is done, you have transcripts, you have video recording, audio, you can download that, and you can still communicate within that meeting group after the meeting has been completed. So it's a good way to maybe follow up on things, or you had action items and you're able to kind of close the loop from that meeting. And then, like I mentioned earlier, I think probably one of the coolest things with it is you have that immediate access into all of your recordings. So if someone misses a meeting, the recording is readily available alongside with the meeting notes. Now, keep in mind that you need to download that video because there's only a time limit of X number of days. So you want to make sure that you do download it so that you have if you want a long copy of that to keep it for some time, you want to make sure you do download it. Reduced email overload. Structured conversations. Teams organizes conversations, which eliminates clutter and endless email threads, and quick file sharing and one-liners. You can use the chat for file sharing or brief questions, and the reliance on versus the reliance on lengthy email chains, which can be very frustrating and hard to sometimes even navigate because there's just so many interconnections with the email thread that can really kind of throw you off. Improved collaboration and co-authoring. You have mentioned earlier the seamless document collaboration. You can create Word, Excel, PowerPoint documents directly in Teams. You can share them with colleagues and co-authors in real time. Comments and to-dos. You can discuss documents within Teams, avoiding version confusion and email chaos, as I mentioned also earlier. And then anytime, anywhere connectivity. And I find this very useful as someone who travels on the road. Teams phone app. You can stay connected while you're on the move. You can still access the apps, the documents, and chats from your mobile devices. You can join meetings in a single click and then continue collaborating. That's what makes it so seamless between office, remote office, or mobile office if you're on the road and working. Now, let's talk about an important topic off this slide, which is digital etiquette. Let's talk about practicing good digital etiquette. It's really essential for maintaining a respectful and effective online interaction. As much as etiquette's important when we work together face to face, let me cover what etiquette experts say are the top 3 considerations. The first consideration, and I think this is the most important, respect others, especially related to privacy. You always want to seek permission before sharing personal addresses, communication numbers, information, or photos online. And you always want to make sure with respecting privacy, that helps you build trust, and it also fosters a healthy relationship. It goes both ways. It's the same thing you should demand of others, not only on your team, but colleagues that you work with or other professionals you might interact with. Privacy is very important. Also remember that everything you do online leaves a digital footprint. Always remember that. Whether you're writing an email, you're posting on social media, or you're have a conversation going in a chat room, you want to use appropriate professional language and avoid name calling, cursing, or deliberately offensive content. So that's really super important. And the second tip for etiquette is mind your language and tone. If you wouldn't say something in person, refrain from doing it online, and use common etiquette when communicating digitally, whether it's an email, social media post, or chat. Maintain a respectful tone and avoid offensive language. I personally like to make phone calls. It'll be a mobile call. It will be a virtual call. I think when you do calls, it's better than emails. And the reason why I say that, how many times if you send an email and someone responds to it in a very negative way, because they might read an emotion into it that you never really put into that email. So pick up the phone, call people, mobile phone, virtual phone, physical phone, call them, talk with them, especially on lengthy topics versus writing paragraph after paragraph after paragraph into an email to ask them a question. That can help solve sometimes the miscommunication that email can create. And same thing when it comes to post and chat. It's the same thing. So be very mindful. Run it through your own filter. Maybe have somebody else take a second look at it. There's times where I'll post stuff and I'll have two different views by people, one way this way, one way the other way. So keep that in mind. So the third tip is be mindful of privacy settings. Think twice before sharing personal information or content. If you have an online profile, be careful what you share. Are you sharing your mobile phone number, your home phone number? Do you have your address? Is there any way that this can come back to be used against you for identity theft and things like that? Privacy is freedom, and it's easy to share more so than to take information back. Keep that in mind. Once it's out there, it's typically out there forever, and you don't know who's looking at your information. And really consider what can happen by sharing your information before you post. As some information, like I mentioned, you just cannot pull it back. Remember, practicing good digital etiquette contributes to a positive online environment and respectful business communication. So let's move on to the art of seamless collaboration. Hybrid work demands a symphony of tools and techniques. In the context of hybrid workplace, synchronizing calendars and documents play a crucial role in ensuring smooth operations and effective collaboration. So why is synchronization so essential? With coordinating schedules, what this involves a mix of in-person and remote work days. Teams need to align their availability to facilitate collaboration. If you have a day off, mark it as a day off. Now, I'm not always perfect in this regard. If I'm out of office or I'm away, mark your teams, mark your calendar, what you're doing so that people can have an understanding. Are you available or you're not available? And then if they have access actually directly into your calendar, they can see, what activity you got going on. So that's really important to have that alignment between what you're doing in a given day or a given week or a given month into your calendar so that everyone can understand exactly what's going on, especially if you work as part of a team and there's collaboration. So by synchronizing calendars, it allows team members to know, again, when you are in the office, when you're working remotely, and it really helps in planning meetings, project discussions, and collaborative sessions. When everyone is aware of each other's schedule, it minimizes conflicts and ensures efficient use of time. Now, efficient meeting planning. Shared calendars enable teams to schedule meetings without unnecessary back and forth communications. That's why I like the integrated calendars. When planning hybrid meetings, having visibility into colleagues' availability ensures that everyone can attend. And with integration tools like Microsoft Teams, as I just earlier mentioned, or Outlook, it really allows that seamless scheduling and also too automatic notifications, which are important to let you know that you have an upcoming meeting in 15 minutes or whatever time frame you have your alarm set. That can be a lifesaver, and sometimes when you have those important meetings with the boss. Document collaboration. Synchronized document repositories such as shared drives or cloud storage. Well, this really helps team members to have direct access to the latest files regardless of their location. By having them stored on the cloud or a centrally located synchronized storage, it really kind of helps with version control issues, and it also reduces duplication. In the past, everyone would save it to their desktop, to their hard drive, and then you would have to mark it different rev this, rev that. And then also too, sometimes you'd have to look at editing that was done and to take a look at exactly who did editing points and things like that. But by doing it with like a OneDrive or a shared drive, everyone can work on that document and edit in time, but also to save the latest version of it. So that's very important as well. Collaborations can work on, again, as I mentioned, at the same document at the same time. Now, let me sum up everything that I just said regarding synchronized calendars and documents. Really, the important aspect of this and the takeaway is that it fosters effective communication, streamlines collaboration, and enhances productivity in hybrid work environments. Virtual whiteboards are absolutely amazing, and here's why. Virtual whiteboards are digital platforms that replace replicate the functionality of traditional physical whiteboards, but in an online and collaborative environment. Here's what you get. Real-time collaboration. A virtual whiteboard allows multiple users to work together simultaneously, regardless of their physical location. And teams can brainstorm, they can draw, write, and share ideas in real time, just like you would with a physical whiteboard during an in-person meeting. And these platforms really facilitate collaboration, especially in remote or hybrid work situations. Now, some of the key features on these whiteboards, these virtual whiteboards, include drawing tools. Users can create diagrams, sketches, flowcharts, and mind maps using digital pens or shapes. Text and annotations. You can add text, label, and notes to enhance clarity. File uploads. You can attach images, documents, or other files directly to the whiteboard. And in the interactive elements of it, some virtual whiteboards support interactive widgets such as polls, sticky notes, and timers, and real-time updates. Changes made by one user are instantly visible to others. Now, some of the use cases for these virtual whiteboards are, the first one's real easy to understand, remote work. Virtual whiteboards facilitate remote collaboration, and they do allow the teams to kind of come together virtually. They can plan and they can visualize concepts together. Education. Teachers can use them for interactive lessons, problem solvings, or group activities in virtual classroom settings. Project management. Virtualize project timelines, workflows, and tasks. And also consider this. Engineers working remote as a hybrid or in an office, and then also too, those that might be working at a project site or in some other location, now they can all work together in the same project that's done on a virtual whiteboard. Design and creativities. Artists, designers, and architects can sketch and really work on each other's drawings or other types of projects they're working. And then brainstorming sessions. This is a great way to capture and organize ideas during team meetings if you're going to do a brainstorming session with your team or multiple teams brainstorming. Now, APIs or application program interfaces, think of apps, offer several benefits for business regardless of their size or industry. Let me cover some of the benefits of apps. The first is it foments innovation. As the demand for modern software grows, APIs enable businesses to innovate by integrating with existing tools and services. And developers can leverage APIs to create new features, enhance user experience, and stay competitive in a dynamic market. So think of those days where you had traditional businesses, then the next iteration we had websites, and then you had online purchasing capability, and then now you have the ability to have a virtual business as much as you have a brick and mortar business, but now you also have the capability to offer different type of applications, tools and resources that can be done through a mobile application. Now, also, it boosts automation. API integration automates processes within websites and applications. By connecting, hey, Garen, welcome. By connecting different systems seamlessly, APIs enhance development, agility, and reduce manual effort. And automation leads to efficiency gains and faster time to market for new features. It also enhances customization. APIs allow businesses to build more scalable platforms tailored to users' needs, and developers can focus on unique propositions while relying on standardized processes provided by APIs. Think of APIs as connectors that plug into existing infrastructure, streamlining development. Another aspect I wanted to cover is that it builds new revenue models. APIs enable businesses to create additional revenue streams. By exposing certain functionalities or data through APIs, companies can monetize their services. And some of the examples would be subscription-based APIs, data licensing, or partner integrations. So you can also use APIs to bridge in your partners and offer, again, more monetized services and capabilities. And the last thing I'll cover with APIs, it really improves the customer experience. And this is what's critically important. They really facilitate personalization by connecting applications and databases. And businesses can gather insights from customer interactions and tailor offerings accordingly. Learn from the user's data as they're using your resource, your data, your API, your application. Whether it's seamless payment processing or personalized recommendations, APIs enhance the user experience. Now, APIs are the future, and they enable businesses to innovate, automate, and create better experiences for their customers. Now, let's move on to a really important topic for every business, especially these days: cybersecurity in the hybrid age. As we toggle between home Wi-Fi and corporate networks, security becomes paramount. Let's talk about phishing, VPNs, and passwords. Phishing is a form of social engineering and scam where attackers deceive people into revealing sensitive information or installing malware such as ransomware. Now, here are some key points. Let's talk about methodology. Phishing attacks often arrive via email spam, and the goal is to trick individuals into giving away sensitive information or their login credentials. Attackers typically will impersonate trusted source like banks or government agencies, your boss, to gain the victim's trust. And victims are typically directed to a fake login page where they can unwittingly reveal their credentials, especially related to bank sites. Now, the different types of phishing. The first and most prevalent is email phishing. These are bulk attacks that are sent to a wide audience, attempting to steal information from financial institutions, email providers, or even streaming services. And the next is spear phishing. These are target attacks that use personalized emails, and they're often aimed at executives or financial departments. Now, some examples: fraudulent emails ask users to confirm account details or to click onto malicious links. Now, some of the impact and prevalence. Phishing is the most common type of cybercrime since 2020. It can lead to financial losses, malware infections, and unauthorized access. And awareness and prevention measures are crucial in both personal and professional settings. Remember to stay vigilant and verify the authenticity of requests before sharing sensitive information online. Now, to add a level of security, businesses should add virtual private networks, VPNs, and here are the top 3 benefits. The first is enhanced security. A VPN allows businesses to secure their network efficiently. And without VPN, applications and websites can track your online activity, potentially leading to intrusive ads. With a VPN, your transmitted data remains secure, anonymous, preventing unauthorized access. And additionally, VPNs use encryption to protect sensitive information from hackers. Now, when it comes to privacy protection, hackers can intercept sensitive information entered onto websites, risking identity theft or unauthorized access. And a VPN hides your private data by encrypting your online communications. Even if it's intercepted, the encrypted data appears to be gibberish to anyone trying to access it. This ensures your privacy and protects against cyber threats. And the third thing, which is data throttling avoidance. Data throttling occurs when your internet speed is intentionally slowed down by your internet service provider, your ISP, after consuming a specific amount of data. So typically, when you have an account, you're going to have so much data capability with it, like you sometimes have on your mobile devices. So when you look at the plans, both for residential and also for mobile plans, take a look and see what the terms and conditions are when it comes to the amount of data you could use, the availability to it, and then the potential where they will go and actually, they don't really call it out this way, but what they do is they do the data throttling. So with a VPN, you can avoid data caps because your ISP cannot see how much data that you're using. And this benefit is especially useful for employees using data plans or their smart devices while working remotely on the road. In summary, VPNs enhance security, they maintain privacy, and ensure secure access to company resources from anywhere in the world. So, what about passwords? Creating strong and safe passwords is crucial for protecting your online accounts. Now, here are some practical tips. You want to use a password manager. Password managers generate and store complex passwords securely. You want to choose a reputable one like 1Password, Dashlane, or Bitwarden. There are others out there. Research them, look into them. And a password manager ensures that you don't have to remember multiple passwords and you can automatically fill them in for yourself. A lot of people will write down their passwords. What happens if you lose that book or someone intercepts that information? Now they know access into all your email accounts, your bank accounts, your streaming services, anything and everything. So a password manager is very well, if you a little bit of investment potentially, but definitely well worth it. It's important to create strong passwords. Aim for at least 12 to 14 characters in length, and the longer it is, it's the better. You want to combine upper and lower cases, letters, numbers to special characters, and you want to avoid easily guessable, information like birthdays or common words, like password 1. Consider using passphrases, which is a sequence of random words for added security. And then the other way to do is to enable two-factor authentication. That's 2FA. Whenever possible, if you can set up a 2FA for your accounts, do it. It really does add an extra layer of security by requiring a second verification method, like a text message or an authentication app, in addition to your passwords. You'll find this a lot with Google. You'll find this a lot with Apple. And I'll tell you what, I really appreciate it because it will tell me what device, what typical location it was. In other words, what ISP was it coming out of? And I've had occasion with my Google account where I've seen unauthorized access was attempted over in a foreign country, and I was able to go back in, change my password because someone made an attempt on my account. Now remember, strong passwords and good security practices go a long way to safeguarding your digital life. Now, let's talk about human factor, empathy, empowerment, and engagement. Technology isn't just code, it's a conduit for human connectivity and connection. Let's explore a little bit. When we talked earlier about the pandemic to now where we're going through the endemic. Zoom was real big at the beginning of the pandemic. And with the use of Zoom, and I've heard this terminology used, especially after that first year of Zoom fatigue. You can have a lot of times fatigue. It doesn't matter if you're on Zoom, you're on Teams, you're on any other type of virtual or online type of resource. What you want to be mindful of is when you have screen weariness and you want to take breaks, you really need to kind of focus on yourself and step away from the monitor, the tablet, the phone screen, and go out and touch grass. Take some time for yourself. It's really important. Inclusivity bites. What I mean by this is when you look at digital, not only digital etiquette, but when you look at interacting, you want to ensure that everyone's voice is heard. And what I mean by that is when you're interacting virtually, you want to make sure that everyone has every opportunity to speak up, to share their ideas, and to also showcase what they bring to a meeting or an activity that's done online. And then the other thing I want to talk about is digital wellness, and that's prioritizing mental health in a world of notifications and pings. This is going to be more of the mindfulness. You really, as I mentioned a little earlier, is to turn it off, take a walk around the block, focus on other things. There are times where we work virtually, either on the road or we're working out of our home, and we're literally almost working in the evening on the weekends. I'm sure everyone who's watching this has done that, where it's like traditional work was 9 to 5, and now it's traditional business done virtually. But a lot of times we might get that late email late at night. We start working on it, or, oh, I got to get a report done. I'm going to do it tonight versus doing it tomorrow morning. So make sure you do have that work-life balance, especially if you're working remotely and you're working as a digital employee or entrepreneur. And let's talk about and close this out talking about future-proofing your tech toolkit. Technology is changing drastically daily. And over the last number of broadcasts and also on the podcast, I talk a lot about not only digital transformation topics, but how artificial intelligence is really shaking up the workforce, but also to how we do business and also to the things that we can do as professionals. Now, the only constant change, as they say, change is the only constant thing. So let me wrap up with some ways that you can future-proof your technology self-awareness. The first thing is continuous learning. You want to stay curious in a tech-driven universe. And what I mean by that is watch some YouTube channel programs or videos and things like that. Read about what technology is coming, because what you're reading about today is going to be stuff that's going to be really forefront in a short period of time. And understand exactly what can potentially be an impact on your professional career. Maybe you are in a sector that can be in the future impacted by artificial intelligence. It's best to know about it now and then learn other skills and abilities, and then make sure that you can expand yourself beyond maybe a narrow set that worked for you in the past, but moving into the future, especially with artificial intelligence and how business is changing, you have to be adaptable. You have to be flexible. You always have to be learning, because it's all about selling value to an employer, or potentially you discover through continuous learning that, hey, I can become a virtual entrepreneur. I could become a digital entrepreneur. I could go and start my own business. There's so many possibilities for you out there when you think about it. Agile adaptation, embracing the updates that happen, new technologies, and then also to get to fully understand how you can integrate technology within your professional life, your business life, even to some extent your personal life, but don't lose that personal connection to people, to team members, to your employer, to each other. That's going to be very important, that work-life balance. But you have to be able to stay on top of the technological changes that happen, and you also do need to embrace it. For me, I'm a lucky person, and what I mean by that is my first exposure to a computer was when the iMac first came out. I mean, I literally was there when it first came out, and just to see how technology has progressed. I remember having pagers, and then having a bag phone, and then having a heavy handheld phone, then the flip phone, and then we got into digital stuff. Now think about everything that we have. So we have different generations that are kind of either in it moving forward, and a lot of us have been immersed in it moving forward. So again, no matter where you're at in your stage of your life, look at what technology is available, but also make sure that you do manage that and balance it out and everything like that. The other thing I'll talk about is a quantum keyboard. Well, We really don't have the quantum keyboard, but eventually you're going to start to see the point where you don't even need a physical keyboard. And I think everybody saw that with the Apple. If you look at the Apple Vision Pro and you have the virtual keyboard, so many things are coming. Just think that's just kind of that first generation for $3,500. That's a first generation device, but think of where it's going to be in 5 years, 10 years. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And the same thing with Elon's, brain chip. Where will things be in 5, 10 years from now? Not only helping people medically with conditions and maybe brain issues, but also too how that will enhance us as humans if we get to a point where we ourselves are a hybrid and we have technology that's kind of implanted or built into it. It's very science fiction-y, can be very scary, but also too, it could be a brave new world. All right, so let me properly close out this live stream. Join me next time as I continue our exploration of digital transformation and dive deeper into topics such as cybersecurity, innovations in digital technologies, process automation, artificial intelligence, powered business transformations, and industry-specific digital adoption strategies. Don't forget to subscribe to the Digital Revolution with Jim Kunkel podcast. The podcast launched, the audio podcast launched in January. It's doing extremely well. It's also helping out the YouTube channel, which I greatly appreciate everyone who's following it and subscribing. Please, I just so greatly appreciate that. But it's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and many, many other podcast platforms. All you have to do is just search The Digital Revolution with Jim Kunkel and hit go. And I would greatly appreciate, check out the episodes that are out there. There's bonus content. I'm going to have some really cool interviews coming out, and it's all focused on all the digital transformation type of topics. So you're really into that, or you're curious about it, this podcast is for you. And then also too, please check out the Digital Revolution channel on YouTube. Many of you are watching it now on YouTube, to stay updated on the latest videos and informative shorts that I will be putting out, and I have put out. There's a lot of good content on there as well. Now, I appreciate your support of the revolution, and I look forward to bringing you more exciting content. And also, thank you. I want to just say too, please have a great evening, afternoon, morning, no matter where you're coming from and watching this stream. Thank you very much.